Good morning. All right, so this morning I'm not in the tub, I'm on the toilet. Uh, However, either way, it's essential to know that. So, for these babies who are born from 2024 until at least 2030, uh, from the womb until at least six, it's imperative that they are receiving adequate nutrients from the sun and the moon. Of course, if you are new to these type of concepts, that's okay. Your kids are gonna make it make sense to you. You are gonna find yourself taking moonlit walks, because your kid won't stop crying, or getting up super early and catching the sunrise and gazing directly at the sun when you're pregnant, or the moon. And so, what makes this really easy is understanding why there are certain chemicals inside the sun and the moon. So, I know like solar power, and I'm sorry, I'm having a brain fart because I usually don't think, I usually just channel. But the message I got was specifically about water, charging water for your children um, right before bed, especially giving them this water if you're doing the formula or diluting your breast milk when you're pumping with water that's charged by the moon and the sun. Um, it's going to be the opposite. So in the morning, you're going to want to go ahead and, do the moon water for them starting the day. And then at nighttime, you're going to want to go ahead and use the water that you charge from the sun. And all you have to do is get some spring water. Uh, that's that's the this is the layman's terms, I guess. I'll go to the store, get some spring water, and then what you do is you put it in a glass jar. So you can wash out any old. I wouldn't use a pasta jar, but any other jar aside from pasta. Wash it out and then just put the water in there and tip it upside down so the top is on the bottom and then the clear glass is going to reflect the sun or the moon. And then what's going to also help is the metal lid. And so what you want to do is you want to have that lid directly on the earth. So I'm in Minnesota, it's snowy. So I would just go ahead and put it in a snowbank. Now the light from the moon and the sun both will reflect the same way. But you're gonna want to have two different jars. Obviously, I would label them moon and sun so that way you don't get them mixed up. And you can do, I would say, these should be in small batches because each child is different. But it's super simple. You want to have it outside at least for 24 hours. So that way there is direct contact with the sun, direct contact with the moon, and then there's that overlapping time where the sun and moon are out at the same time visibly. And so all of those three properties are super important to have for each individual child who is, I mean, period. Everybody on this planet should have those things. But those are some of the vitamins and the chemicals that are going to awaken these faculties within these children to make their natural, neuroreceptors more aligned long term. Because 0 to 7, they're in a hypnotic state, and those years form what goes on then for the rest of their lives. And so, this is not just a physical health thing. This is mental, emotional, spiritual, energetic, physical, all wrapped into one. So when you can regulate these things during this time period, it's super important. And that's a simple thing that anyone can do. Anyone, a homeless person, a rich person, somebody who is in Iraq, someone who is in Minnesota, anywhere. And so if you don't have a glass jar for whatever reason or that particular kind of jar, then you can use the plastic bottle, or it doesn't even have to be spring water. If it's natural water from somewhere else, if you don't have bottled water in the country that you're in, I totally get that. So just use whatever you have. But ideally, in Minnesota, in the United States, spring water is going to be the greatest possible thing you can have, aside from an actual natural spring and filling up a cup, from a natural body of water. So that is something you're going to want to do on a regular basis, at least once a week when you're starting off. If you are a spiritual practitioner, or if you're familiar with these types of modalities, then you can do it more often. And if your baby is born, you're going to want to go ahead and start it off once a week, so that way you can see the amount, because every baby's different, and every baby every baby's sensitivity is a little bit different. So you're going to want to listen to your own internal guidance. Your baby's constantly communicating with you, because energy never shuts up. Okay, it's always in constant communication with everyone, everything, with its environment. And so, like, these are uh, super essential, and nobody's really talking about this because it hasn't been done before on this planet. But I guarantee you will notice a difference, not only in yourself, because when you're pregnant during this period of time, all the way up until 2030, it's essential for you to consume this. You can, if it's a concept that's you're not familiar with, you can pour it into your bath water, wash your hair with it, use it in that kind of sense to get your body used to that kind of charged water. It's literally liquid electricity, and it helps you regulate your own neural pathways and everything like that, and restore your circadian rhythm easily. Like, I do a lot of sound therapy. I do a lot of all these different modalities all day long, 24/7, and I have done that before I got pregnant. But I also understand not everybody's there. Not everybody understands me or understands these quantum concepts or spiritual practices, and bringing this into, like, co-parenting your child before the child is even out of your body, like, that's over a lot of people's heads right now at this current time. On the 11th of February 2026 in the United States of America. I understand that. However, it doesn't mean that these concepts are not valid. It doesn't mean that you're not receiving the divine downloads from this video, regardless of if you watch it or not. These children will have exactly what they need. So there's no pressure. It's only awareness. And so therefore they wanted me to share this with you in this particular way, because this is a form of energy clearing. And yes, I'm going to go to the bathroom right now. So that way when I'm done, I can fully focus on my breakfast and what I'm doing today with these babies. So you guys have a wonderful day.